24 radio ene enyumre ebredu sense some eti so my Ghana has said the asema ya to ne trending news ye deba ebesomo ene nsema ye deba na di mu akotene ebi ene se NPP amanyokuo koshia mu ewo gwamantam enrada ne nyina ene se won manifesto ensema omo akutire egu nkrata so aso omo befa akonwa ibi ma wamo bedi juma ana omo bedi hu juma no wamo ekobo ho da road kire party for ene oman Ghana na eno ena education womesuomo no Ghana mampani abedi akire His Excellency Yewura Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ede atu edwa say free education omo ba behye kena sanso ena university for mamo eko tertiary institution most tertiary institution mu nyina no se mo pebisia garanta bia ni ho a omobedi machi biem de mu hia eye national ID card sa enso ena ode atu dwa say schools best 10,000 wo mamu hase a omo ehia say ye pagya munti ye bebo foto pa na ye de apagya sa schools yi mu.
When you come to education, it's very, very important that we consolidate the free SHS and the free TVET programs and deepen them. But beyond free SHS, we are concerned also about tertiary education.
Sanso and another danko kufuado de atuja say Ghana mampani dada His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Ghana foni kwase nyane mugidie na yede aban no mane biem nyesa oba free education no se do sikaseti aye no enoma enkoye ni kwase nyane mugidie o free education eho.
I have no reason to believe the NDC presidential candidates newly proclaimed conversion to free SH and free TVET for
Ghana mampani dada His Excellency John Ejekum Kofo so de atudwa se yenya nana do danko akufuado ne na ban mugidie ne ensanfa amemo na enhye wo monsa enfie nan ebiem
aban man bi ti akanyame na ne ko bosia na bi se bi nya ba tide ana bi se ana ko titi aban kakra ti nya bi o problem o so bi na because yes, your man says I'm not financial. The MPP, yeah, over the quality. I said,
Enra dana so CPP amanyokio no so etimi kohyia mu ebo mo moden pa ekoyi wo empanifo na enum ena opani obetu franka de ama CPP amanyokio no Ivor Kwabena Green Street otimi edi nkunim nyamba 1364 apem ahasa edusia N9 otimi edi nkunim asesei ono ne franketufo edema CPP amanyokio no.
Two people also contested. Candidate number one, Nanaya Achampim Jantua, she had 1,389. Then James Cobran Bonfe had 752. So Nanaya Achampim Jantua is duly elected as the General Secretary.
Sanso ena Ghana mampani dada His Excellency John Dramani Mahama de atuja say se say de nana wapreato ewo wapreate ewo corruption oba e wentumi entuketa se ase enunti one manifesto enra omo entumi anka hwe anfa ho.
Fight against corruption. This president is not willing to fight corruption, and everybody knows that when you fight corruption, corruption fights back. And I mean, depending on who you are in this administration, I mean, you can do whatever you want and get away with it.
In some way, any afufro pi na musonfo edu edonko and then you may imagine konya mede eba abesomo. Afei ensam no emu enchiremu enie enrada ena NPP amayokio mkokoshia mu ewo gwamantam metre Central Region na eho ena munyuma awodwa senyame adom na 2020 abato eba beto omtimifa akonwa na omo ebeye omo de agu nkrata so no omo kobo ho dero ede kire party for ene Ghana omo eto abanyina na eno ena omonsem no omo kan sem awudo pi nsɛm ahodoɔ pii ɛna ɔmo ɛbobɔ so party mu mpanimfoɔ no dodoɔ na ɛtumi enya akwanya ɛde nsɛm ahodoɔ ɛto edwa na ɛno ɛna ɔpani a wɔyɛ Ghana yɛma mpani abɛdi akyire wɔn nso ɛde ɛto edwa sɛ party bɛfa akwanya yi ɛnya asɛm ketewa koraa ɔmo ɛbɛfa akwanya yi ɛka ɛna ɔmo ɛtumi ɛfa ɛfiri ɔpani a na ɔte edwa so dada mekyerɛ His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Akachi na ɛka no mu nyinaa mu no NPP fo timi bɔ ɔmo mmɔden yɛ paa ɛyi a ɔmo ɛtumi ɛkɔnkɔden ɛma nɔɔma sese ɛdeda n'akwan emu na ɛno ɛna ɔkyerɛ mu sɛ party bɛfa akonya yi ɔmo ɛsan so ɛhyɛ ɛbɔ ahodoɔ pii ansa na 2016 abatoɔ no ɛba soɔ dumsɔ no mu nyinaa akyi ɔmo bɛfa akonya yi ɛna ɔmo atumi atoto yie mismanagement of the economy not just economy na atete apansam no mo bae nso etimi agina before COVID-19 na agina say kim banks and microfinance ahodo a etimi aguo any NHIS nso a eno nso etimi aguo ni nyina mo bae omo etimi abo mo moden ama na etimi agina say kim na omo bae no mo etimi abo mo moden ye pa ema normal ahodo be se ahasan de omo etimi aye ewo be se asoye be edu enson emu na eno echirim say about omo 289 by promises omo emeki ye na eno motimi abosa omotu sa anamono say ena yira His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia editor party supporters and Ghana fo nyina anim.
The plan for acceleration of growth. So these are the three parts of the manifesto that the various presenters were putting together so beautifully. Of course, we are all reminded from the very beginning the mess that this government inherited from the mismanagement of the economy under the previous government, with doomsday, collapsing NHIS, and so on. It was a mess. Including the collapsing banking sector and financial sector. So we promised to fix this, and we proceeded to fix the broken economy, invest in critical and national infrastructure, and make the government machinery work. I'll go to briefly talk about the accounting section of the manifesto. In this section, we list all the achievements that we have actually chalked in our 3.5 years in every sector, 17 sectors in all, and we have listed all the achievements. There are 289 separate promise categories, and we have listed over 300 achievements that we have in 3.5 years. Over 300 achievements. And so when you read the manifesto, you will see that we have fulfilled at least 80% of our promises. That is massive for any government in its first term. 80% of our promises. And when you look at all these, we have really performed better, much better than
Ghana Yeman Penia Bedi His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia osadi tujwa se nyame aduma free 2021 ekono ombebo mo modern ama enoma yeye no mem ha sei no yeni etimi akoho ye papa ya omo attention bekoso pa eye enkenkenkan one district one factory jumedie no say ena okafa made in Ghana things.
Ghana will renew our emphasis on component assembly, not just in automobiles, but also home appliances and light manufacturing in general. We will deepen and expand the 1G, 1F, and we will focus on implementing the integrated bauxite and aluminium industry, as well as the iron and steel industry. The preparatory work for these two industries is now complete. complete. The legal framework is set, and in our next term, inshallah, you will see Ghana realize the vision, the long-held vision of building an integrated bauxite and aluminium industry, as well as an integrated iron ore and steel industry, which will be based in the northern part of Ghana. As we add value to our raw materials and our minerals, we will also be passing into law a mineral revenue management law, similar to the petroleum revenue management law, which will be a first in this country. In the area of agriculture,
Osanso ede to just say yeba yekua adwuma mu nso a free 2021 ekomo ani beko normal ibedua si wia so ebawia yede ebi ebeko aman foforo so na yakwa akoton eno nti na warehouse dodo na yesi no omam ha sei eno nti eba agriculture mu nso a sene omo eye dams ewo miamia awodo sene be ya no so beboa ama yen kuadwuma atimi akoso wano wa brebi a opese udi dwuma ewo ekua adwuma mu.
In the area of agriculture, we will accelerate the activities under the Planting for Export and Rural Development. We will accelerate the implementation of the greenhouse village concept and our efforts in expanding our agricultural mechanization centers, as well as promote import substitution with a focus on rice, sugar, and poultry. Rice, sugar, and poultry are areas where we spend a lot of foreign exchange, but our vision is to make Ghana self-sufficient in the production of these three key commodities that we have chosen to focus on in the area of import substitution. When you come to education,
wasade to just say eba engomasium nso as say free senior high school no omo ba be shim kena papa enyingu 2021 ebeye fe afen so tertiary institution mechire university training colleges sanso and nursing training colleges ne de kekeka hono wamo ebeshem kena papa omo be fani padodo enrollment no be kosropa ya enye asemketwa omo ehun se ni padodo na entimi enya ekwan enko training colleges no anase tertiary omo wie senior high school na ajiego ne nyina ene se eba university ana tertiary institution mu rana na ayeden pa ema school for no eno nti omo de normal outdoor ebegu kwan mu na de beboa aye student loan na student loan enkane no so obi koji student loan na de no hia guarantor so obi be kwa akogina na chi na se waji atum se enipa na entua ne sika na ono so ne ho akire no eno nti ema nipa no toto na entimi enya obi eni wo mochi emomo entimi enkonkoji student loan go se school no aje egu eno nti die school ni no ana student ni hia na ID card unhia guarantor obeboa ama aban no beboa ama wonso wonsa aka o student loan na se unya o student loan na the real school say kim nyame ye wadom na se unya adwuma after completion of school na de etie ene se afe baako yentew afe no betwagu ansa na efiri okono ya shase ede atetew na osanso echire mu se abana abofoto be se 219 million ede atowo se obeboa ama adesua etimi akosoro papa ya enya asem keto akra wakase schools be se empim edu 10,000 de omo modimo no ewo fom ye papa enunti aban no ebebofoto ede atowo se ne be ya ode bepeja school a omo emodin mo ewo efomi teacher for omo ebenya omo eso de motivation na hodo obekọ ede ama omo se ne be omo modin mo nso ebekọ so ewo schools a omo eka 10,000 yi eho sanso ena zongo communities no so mantam do any insane yebesi senior high school ede ama zongo communities na a enye asemketo akra sanso ena school a ewo ho anadesua efa edema special needs nso omo bechem kena enye asemketo akra omo bebo omo moden na omo ede enoma egwuram se na ebe ya no so ebetimi aye krabehwe wɔde Wi-Fi na ban no de Wi-Fi ɛbɛkɔ senior high school ɛne tertiary institutions ahodoɔ ne emu.
When you come to education, it's very, very important that we consolidate the free SHS and the free TVET programs and deepen them. But beyond free SHS, we are concerned also about tertiary education. It is very important that we note that the link between tertiary education and economic development is very, very strong. Countries which have high tertiary enrollment rates have much higher levels of economic development. If you look at South Korea, the gross tertiary enrollment ratio in South Korea is 94%. If you look at Ghana, our gross tertiary enrollment ratio is less than 17%. So if we are to catch up and build the human capital that will help us transform the economy, then we have to get more enrollment into the tertiary sectors. Now, one of the problems for students in getting enrollment, in getting access to tertiary education is affordability, whether it's enrollment in the public or the private universities. The ability to get the money, just like it used to be under the secondary education, many students were not able to access it. There's also a bottleneck that we are trying to address, because when the senior high school students graduate, many of them will look to go for tertiary education, and we have to facilitate their ability to access tertiary education. So we have a major promise, a policy initiative, which will say that all tertiary students, except teacher and nursing trainees who will be on allowances, but all tertiary students will now be able to get the option to obtain a student loan without the requirement of a guarantor. The problem for many tertiary students is the current scheme asks for guarantors, and you know, a lot of people are not willing to put their pensions online, so many students are not able to access. So you don't need a guarantor. All you need is your national ID card. That's all. And then you will be able to access your loan. And once you complete the tertiary education, repayment will be deferred. After your national service, you will get 1 year grace after the national service before you start repaying. So it's a major tertiary education initiative to enable us improve access to tertiary education as well. We are also going to implement the $219 million Ghana Accountability for Learning Outcomes project. This is known as the GALLOP project, and it is a project for which the funding has already been secured. And what is this project about? We have identified 10,000 low-performing schools in Ghana. Their performance is quite low. And we have got this program where we are going to target these 10,000 schools and improve their performance by giving them additional funding in addition to their capitation grants, and also support the teachers additionally so that they can raise the levels of performance of these 10,000 schools so that they will not be left behind. This is the GALLOP program that we are going to be implementing. In addition, we want to make sure that we focus on education in the Zongo communities. So we are building in each of the 16 regions. We are building model senior high schools in Zongo communities in the 16 regions. So we have 16 model senior high schools in the 16 regions of Ghana in the Zongo communities. Of course, one of the areas that has not received enough attention is in the area of special needs education. And we are going to focus on special needs. A lot of our children who are suffering from autism or cerebral palsy and other special needs need support. And government needs to support many organizations who are in the private sector trying to also help. And we're going to increase the resources and infrastructure for special needs education across the country. We We will also expand infrastructure to increase access to professional legal education. This is one area that the limited infrastructure in the law school really limits intake, and so there's a lot of frustration with many prospective lawyers not able to get in. So we are going to help expand the infrastructure needs so that we can get more people who are able to study. We will also complete the provision of free Wi-Fi at all senior secondary schools and public tertiary institutions. The process has started. A contract has already been awarded, and ECG is also leveraging its fiber network across the country. And even before the end of this year, we will be starting from the ECG perspective on the tertiary institutions. But inshallah, by next year, we expect most of the work, if not all, our senior high schools and tertiary to have free Wi-Fi for their studies. Then we look at health.
Ghana Yemampeni Abedi Echire His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia editor just say abaino ayenhyehyɛ na waka ama ato ebinum kra 18 a ɛyɛ agenda 88 ana agenda 11 ne nyina ɛne sɛ mensini a ɛwɔ mem ha sei no abaino ɛhwɛ sɛ yebenya asopiti ana yaresabia ewo babia se ne be beboa ama ya pomdin nsem no etimi agina pintin na eno na ode atudwa se saa ensem yi aban no eba nimpre no so biema wode bedi juma sanso na health insurance jumedie no oba besim kena amane twa afa Ghana yen ayaresa eho babia free primary secondary ekopem tertiary healthcare ni nyina aban no eye nhyehyɛ se obehye NHIS no mu kena etimi edi juma se ne be ya se ye bowo free primary healthcare no de wo secondary healthcare na wetimi etwitwa age wo ho na eno sa editu edwa se medical schools a wo mem ha sei no se wo sa bebiem pa ama etimi aboa ama wona omo ewo pepa se omo ekogin tete se doctor for no school yi etimi afa enipa dodo ewom ama Ghana yenso yetimi enya a doctor for dodo na import duties are a sanitary pad so Ghana Yemampeni Abedi Echire di atudwa se wo mo fa etoso mienu no mechire wo second coming no wo ebepe ama sa import duties no etimi every yen sanitary pad no so se ne be ya ye maiwa titiri no wo enso etimi etwitwaje wo ewo ahonidie kase mu pa sanso na obetimi aboa ama won attention dodo na digitization and telemedicine so ebetimi aye ejuma sene a doctor for betimi ejina from a distance no motimi diagnose no mo hu yare a patient sene be ya and also ebema ya pomdin etimi SCP na esita.
Look at health, which my good friend Okoboy talked about. We have a major program in the health sector. We have Agenda 111, which used to be Agenda 88. We're going to build district hospitals wherever they are none. 102 in all, 2 additional psychiatric hospitals, and 7 regional hospitals. 6 in each of the new regions. We are building the regional hospitals in the 6 new regions and 1 in Western region, in addition to the rehabilitation of Ifiakwanta Hospital. So that is a major infrastructure area that we are going, and it's the biggest healthcare infrastructure that we are going to be putting in place for many, many years. We will focus, ladies and gentlemen, on health promotion and prevention as part of primary health care through the National Health Insurance Scheme to achieve universal health care. It is important for us to note that 95% of the disease burden is already covered under NHIS, primary, secondary, or tertiary diseases. It's already covered. And children, the elderly, and vulnerable groups don't have to pay the NHIS premiums anyway. So if you say you are going to offer free primary health care, it's almost meaningless. Because if you have free primary health care and you don't have an NHIS card and you go for a checkup and they say go for secondary treatment, what are you going to do? So our focus is going to be on the promotion and prevention of, primary health and promotion and prevention as part of primary health care. We are also going to work with the Ghana Medical and Dental Council to streamline the admission processes for foreign trained doctors. The discussions with a lot of foreign trained doctors speaks to a lot of frustration that they have in joining the normal medical corps, especially some of our brothers and sisters who have trained in Cuba when they come in. We're going to discuss with the Ghana Medical Council to streamline those processes to enhance access. We will also help by expanding access to medical schools in Ghana by building additional facilities and augment its human resource base. Ladies and gentlemen, we will eliminate import duties on sanitary pads to improve health conditions, particularly for girls. It's very important, but what we want to really do is to make sure we produce the sanitary pads in Ghana. Until that happens in their numbers, we're going to eliminate the import duties to bring down the cost. And the focus in this era of digitization, we are going to also focus on telemedicine. Now that will reduce the cost as doctors can diagnose and prescribe at a distance and don't have to be particularly at a location.
NPP one manifesto launch a course wo guaman temuno ena ye ne nkakran ebubu ne nkakran tot edimamo wo akwantufo radio so wo ene trending news no emu na ye ko adansie mu ensem no odi to edwa say eya omo etibi na nanwada oko rent control for asure so hu bi ensem ne wo help ena efa yen adan ehun nipa dodo na ena ehan edan enunti eya na de help ena aba nti adansie mu sane ene edan han mu ejina homa ekumiensa aban no efiewrafo ene wo hai dan no eye eku a wo efa edan eho ensem na eno ena ode atudwa so omobeyen hihye pa a enya asem ketwa kra na yenuanom a omo ebefrimu ewo university na tertiary institution aba abonten so omo eba beye adwuma no aban beboa ema afie edikan no obetimi aboa ahan edan ama omo etua eho ka na se adwuma no omo ehyase a omo atua ne nkakran sika na aban ebetua no onfa enkoma nipa na okwa han dan no mechire tenant no na emom obetua ede ama efierani no mechire landlord ana landlady no se ne beya enoma ebetimi atoto yie na chese eno enso eye ade bia ebeboa school for titiri wo ma omo graduate ewo afinum no aban ebeboa ama omo etimi ede enhyehyɛ a wo ma ato ne din National Rent Assistance Scheme etimi aba ama amanfo eho etimi atowo mo ewo edan ehan mu se yenuanom efri school mu eba no mo kwa han dan a ya modern pa titiri nemre a ewon hyehyɛ mu senka nipa no han dan anka bosuminsia esika na nkotua no Ghana ha de nipa no betimi atua bese emfie be enan ne mienu ene mienu eso ena obetimi atua sanhye ni nyina omo ede ehye papa ebegu akwemo na omo yisa ohaw no ede efri honom wa bra omo de digitized National Rent Control Board ena eba na se uti ofie a ehye ni nyina egu efidie so a obetimi access bibia ewo ehonom sanso ena omo ede adansie enhyehyɛ foforo ebeba ama wonso a omo eye low income earners no womo so eho etimi ato womo eno omo atono din low income housing omo besi edan ama womo so a omo sikasem ewo fom womo so etimi enyebi ni nyina enisen affordable housing jumedie no kamia yese womo omo sikasem ewo soro no eno omo ena ekoma omo enti womo so ede adansie eho hyehyɛ foforo beba ebeboa ama womo a omo sikasem enhyeda eni soro no womo so etimi enya ebi ahan na land digitization so ebeba se ope asase bi ato a okọ brono na obo brono no ewo afidie so a ebeyi abasa asase we ehonyo anase ya ton dada eno ebeboa ema wona omo pa asase ato na ye bu omo no eso etimi ate ewo oman mu ase.
On to housing. The housing sector is one of the sectors that we are, God willing, going to focus a lot on in the next term. There are three components of our housing policy. It is clear that there are a lot of youth who, when they finish school, just trying to rent accommodation is a big problem. And why is it? The large demands for rent allowance. Sometimes up to 2 years demand. But someone who is finished school and just starting a job doesn't have those savings to pay all these huge demands for rent allowance. The landlords, on the other hand, have gotten used to asking for 2 years and insist on it because they are saying that we'll run away or not, so they want to collect it upfront. So there is a market failure. That's what. And this is why government has decided to come in and bridge this market failure scheme. You know, if you have a job and you can deduct regularly from your income, under this scheme, the National Rent Assistance Scheme will give you a loan to pay your rent allowance. But we are paying this not to you, but to the landlord. And then we will deduct monthly as you would normally. So we are bridging this. You need to have a formality, someone who will guarantee so that you can pay. But it is very, very important that we address this and for the National Rental Assistance Scheme and work with the private sector to crowd in more. We are also going to digitize the National Rent Control Board, and a new law which has been coming to cabinet will also pass a new rent control. The rental housing, then we are going to focus next on low-income housing. Through the land banks that we have already gotten together, we're going to build housing estates. Because the focus, a lot of people in the low-income category cannot really buy many of the affordable homes that are being built. But a lot of low-income people access to housing with a lot of infrastructure around it. And the low-income housing, we're going to be working with the Building Roads and Research Institute, BRRI, mini estates to deal with this over time. Through the mortgage market will continue. But a third aspect of the land for the land housing area is the reform and administration in this country. We've started the process of putting together land digitization, and we will complete it by the grace of God in our next term. We want to make sure that when anybody is trying to buy a land, you can go to the computer and know who owns this land. Very, very simple. So that the litigation around land goes. And this is going to be a major focus for us in our next term, God willing.
Ghana Yaman Penia Bedi, Dr. Mahmoud Bahumia, and no infrastructure. Normal outdoor or more ebeyeno, send a far equine railway, Sanso and a harbor, or more baby yibipa, na eno, ena or so say Cape Coast, or more ebeboa ama or more etime enya harbor, Sanso ena airport, we say Janabia, ebeba ewo ogwa mantamnum, sa and so ena. Which them say Eastern Line and Eastern Corridor, sa equino, a baby abaso, aboso, no, wamo ebetimi aye, sanso ena Burkina, ene Ghana, ya frame Jumedian so, and also obetimi edi Juma ewo honum. On infrastructure, say ena Dr. Mahmoud Baumia ekae.
To continue building on infrastructure. Beginning of roads, water for all, toilets for all, and all of that. We will continue doing that. We will continue the construction. We have construction in Sunyani and Kita of water supply projects, of course, in addition to those going on in Tambale, Yendi, Yamango, and so on. We'll accelerate our investments in roads, railways, and ports. And for the people of Cape Coast, I have good news for you. We are building a new harbor in Cape Coast and a new airport in Cape Coast. It is very critical that we do that. An airport makes a lot of sense in Cape Coast. It's a real tourist hub, and between Greater Accra, Kumasi, and Cape Coast, you have a triangle that really is a lot of hub of economic activity. You can build railway lines between them, and it's a major growth pool if we put an airport here to drive infrastructure growth. Of course, we are going to continue to construct the Eastern Line. We're going to construct the Eastern Line and the Ghana-Burkina Line, which is also very, very much. The Brown Crab Inland Port, the Bouquet Port, and the Atuabo Port are the key ports that we're also going to be looking at going forward. Ladies and gentlemen, in the area of social protection, we're going to make sure.
Osanso to just about social protection about Ghana ya setene mu bambo mu enso a omo ebeboa ama nyame adoma omo fa etoso mienu no Ghana ni bebia ebetimi enya Ghana card a enye asemketo atitiru be nipa be 16 million ekode na omo na Ghana fo nyina na yekuta Ghana card on social protection say ena okay.
We're going to make sure that all those in various databases receiving, social protection support, we bring the databases together, and everybody will be uniquely identified by their national ID card, and which will allow us better to be able to target and deliver social services rather than having a situation where you have no idea the full picture, who is accessing what and who is not. We will ensure the enactment of an aging bill for the elderly and also an affirmative action bill, which has been long overdue. We will mainstream the disability issues by implementing broadly the provisions in the Persons with Disability Act 2006 Act 715. And in particular, we want to address access to facilities, transportation, and equal employment. The creative arts has already been mentioned. We see the creative arts.
Osanso de tuja se eba amemumu ensemu nso a ye nananom omo ntoto o masekra omo beboa na omo de chieftaincy enactment bill kwa faso ebesi ahene anasa ye hemfo omo enhyehyeye omo amamumu enhyehyeye ye beba behyehyye omo de emra foforo ebe papa enye asemkitwa.
In the area of governance, we've talked to the House of Chiefs, the National House of Chiefs, and we have a number of policies that we want to implement. We want to see the passage of the Chieftaincy Amendment Bill, the LI on the membership of the National House of Chiefs, and the codification and digitization of the customary laws and the lines of succession. Once this is done, disputes will abate because currently there's no codification, and so there's so much disputes when it comes to succession. But we believe that we can help the House of Chiefs codify and digitize all these so that it's there for everybody to see. Now,
on TIN number, that is a tax identification number, and also auditor ejase omo ebeboa pa babeshem kena ama se say de obia Ghana ni bebia titiru nipa be se mpim opepe edu ensia de wo mo nso ebetimi enya TIN number ewo ehonum na omo kiremu ese nyame eya adoma yewa na ye the national identification number so the national identification card na de ama abofra no ewo ho na ye hyehye a wo mo de eba sana me de tuja no enipa be se edu opepe edu nsia de omo behwe se omo nso omo be cause ewo TIN number no so na wo national identification number no we need TIN number no bia omo be hyehye ama eno aba be ye wo TIN number
which will stay with you through to death. We will link the NIA also to the Ghana Revenue Authority to broaden our tax base. Currently, we have less than 3 million people who have signed up for tax identification number. And if you don't have a tax identification number, access to some of the government services becomes difficult. Currently, we have 3 million people, and we've said, how can we make sure everybody pretty much has a tax identification number? The answer is simple. We are going to convert every NIA number into a tax identification number. So if you have your NIA card, your NIA number will be your TIN number, and the matter is finished. And by the beginning of next year, we should have at least 16 million TIN numbers, and that changes the economy. It broadens the tax base and brings everybody into the formal economy. And so this is what the sort of thing that we are going to be doing, linking all these databases with the anchor being the national ID card. Of course, we will put together a national data center. We want to develop Ghana as a regional hub and leverage on the Ghana's position as the Secretariat of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. Will build a financial services hub, a mining hub, aviation and logistics, petroleum, automobile, tourism, and a digital services hub. We are in the process of focusing on all of these areas, and we are going to make Ghana a real trade hub in the sub-region and become a regional hub. That is it.
Wasanso de tujwa se eba ankran dwumadie ene enwumadie nkuma na eno so omo ani ewo hopa ya enye asemketo akra entrepreneurial hubs ewo ehonom sanso ena ebeboa ama womo a omo esua enwumakuo awodo no titiri womo epamade na se school bi epa bibia omo betimi apam no dodo ama omo atimi dibi arente sei ena okofa oka efa ankran ene Nyuma Nkuma Ehun,
which is in the establishment of entrepreneurial hubs for small businesses. We have a lot of small business people who have ideas, who can do so many things, but there is no capital to do it. You ask them to set up a factory, there is no money to set up a factory. So what you can do as government in the context of is to build these entrepreneurial hubs. Maybe it's a tailoring hub. You can build a fully equipped tailoring factory that is available. So if somebody has a contract to make uniforms, they'll come and rent space and produce those uniforms, pay and go, and somebody else can come. So you can put these different things in the various hubs in the country so that small businesses can rent, whether it's in uniforms making, whether it's in shoes, whether it's in shea butter processing. So you have these common user facilities without necessarily having to pay for each entrepreneur to set up these things. It will really help the small business area. Then we have the World Bank assisted job and skills project to provide apprenticeship to the youth, skills development, and also grants to help them set up their business. The fourth area is looking at what we call the transport sector recapitalization project. If you look at our transport sector, you will notice that a lot of the vehicles, whether they are the taxis,
no Ghana Yaman Penia BDH, His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, and Amotain in Canon, Sempi, Ena Omo Ekano, Enrado Kasabese, 45 minutes, Ena Openi, Etimi Ekasai, Na Uyepe, Ena Ghana Yaman Penny, His Excellency, Nana Adodankwe Kufuado, Ononso Eje Abenuano, Oje Akunya, Ena Beshe, Ode Egu Obrofi, arrest, Nana Efa. Microphone asema okaye NSA ono NPP ene Nanado Danko Ekufuado de eba manifesto nsema womo eni wo ho pa eye papa enya asem keto akra na omo nso efa ne serious omo fa ni agrokra na politics amanyosem eye juma ese ye de eni eden anase ye fa ne serious eni kwase ye no fa di agro osanso editu ejwa say sene ye citizen ana omo eto abana omo enfo omo agro no omo fo omo eni agro no sanso ena omo manifesto nso omo enfo omo eni agro,
giving us the mandate to implement the ideas in the manifesto. I said I fully understood the consequence of putting my signature to a contract. I know that some people do not accord much worth to a manifesto, but I do. And we of the MPP have always taken our manifestos seriously because we believe politics is serious business, and asking for the mandate of the people to govern is serious business. We believe the citizens must be treated with respect. Once given the mandate to govern, we are bound by the promises that we made to the good people of Ghana, and we set about translating the promises into concrete programs. I said, when we were asking for the mandate to govern,
Ghana Yaman Penny, His Excellency Nana Adodankwe Ekufuado, and Amotene no osa editor dwa say omo ebefa abanwa no 2016 omo bon to ame ato aba no na oka say one na ban ka say omo ba free education omo ebeye na amayuku a ye friend no NDC any one party leader mechre his excellency the former president John Dramani Mahama ede betu edwa eye advert bebre e wo kasamfoni so ene radio ahodo eso say free education omam ha say yentimi nya da free education na so eye ehu dede pi nanso ekpewi a kire a obefa akunwa 2016 a o share jumedi no ase 2017 no na free education e de ahyehyɛ so anyame atom etimi ewie peye na okirem ese eba free education hyehyɛ eho de a credibility no owura ye frɛ no John Dramani Mahama wo zero ewo mu onim hwehwehwe ewo emu a ose obefa akunwa na ye to aba ema na oba aba be guno kra sene wanya mu gidie 2016 no sanso ena oba onhunu ho dwumadi bia enye.
I have no reason to believe the NDC presidential candidate's newly proclaimed conversion to free SH and free TVET. For 8 years, he and his party were loud in their assertions that they did not believe in free SHS and free TVET. They did not like the idea, they rubbished it at every opportunity, and they proclaimed that it would destroy Ghana's educational system. When they were in office, they had a hard time trying to run even their watered-down version of their so-called progressively free education. And then the former president said he would review it. And now we hear him say it has come to stay. Excellency, please try another one. Your credibility on this one is zero. Free SHS and free TVET cannot be trusted in your hands. In much the same way, we would not risk putting agriculture under the ND.
Na osanso ede to just say Kane Mampeni, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Akatre say Ghana for your short memory. That's just a reference some and papa. Na watiasie the entire Yewura John Dramani Mahama Okasa ansem no wabra 2016 no mo ebo entwa na eno no de etu edwa say the entire watiasie ene say Ghana for any short memory enka ono John Dramani Mahama ne modern mo a obeboy a enso ani no enka 2020 enkonsa enyina say Ghana for ento aba ema no na onsa mefa akonwa ibiem.
We've forgotten the broken down freezers, irons, and other household equipment thanks to the 5 years of Tumso. Our memories are not short enough to forget that the economy under him was such a wreck that there was a ban placed on all recruitment into our public services. Our memories are not short enough to forget that teachers taught for 3 years and were only paid for 3 months. Our memories are certainly not short enough to forget that he brought our entire financial services system to near collapse. I've heard him make the extraordinary claim that Ghana's economy was in quote tatters, not because of the COVID-19 pandemic, but because of mismanagement. I doubt that he can recognize a well-managed economy, even if it slapped him in the face. Luckily for us, we do not have to rely on his judgment or assessment of the economy, but it's important to tell him, just in case there are others like him around, that Ghana is today in a position to be able to provide one hot meal for JHS 3 students who are back in school in the midst of a pandemic. We are very much aware of the realities of the times. We know the havoc that COVID-19 has wreaked on our economies and livelihoods. I've asked our party members to keep these sensibilities in their minds.
So me kind of say Ghana I see into me and she say no yɛtimi kura boy homodin ama yenuanom nkuma na yema omo ewo junior high school no free ochina eko Monday obia ebenya aduane edi awia eno eye economy papa eno no na okan bibi efa common sense ho Ghana yemampeni dada His Excellency John Dramani Mahama nto abomu afi ena okoka no voter regions a memo no NPP for elake common sense eno nti enkoye na sei eweyi eye reply a Ghana yemampeni Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo ode ema no se ne common sense mu no watimi aba ama watimi atoto no ma ema alawa etwa mu ewo tertiary ewo training colleges mu no yetimi omo etimi abua ama sesei etimi ababak wetimi abua ama enoma etimi ejina pintin ewo economy num yenti Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
He said by the NDC presidential candidate that NPP policies lack sense. If running an emerging oil economy into the arms of the IMF because of indiscipline in the management of the public finances is sense, I'm happy that the NPP has another concept of sense. If having sense means cancelling teacher, trainee, and nurses' allowances is sense, I'm happy that the NPP has another concept of sense. If having sense means recording the worst economic management statistics of modern times with the lowest rate of growth of the last 30 years, I'm happy the NPP has another concept of sense. Having sense in the NPP means being able to take an economy growing at 3.4% to an economy that grew on the average for 3 successive years, at least 7% per year before the pandemic, and was rightly acknowledged as one of the best performing economies, not just in Africa, but also in the world. Having sense in the NPP means executing the program for planting for food and jobs, which has led to the revival of Ghanaian agriculture from the doldrums of the NDC years, bringing in its wake bumper harvests and affordable food prices in our markets and exports of significant quantities of foodstuffs to our neighbors. Having sense in the NPP means implementing policies which, according to the latest Ghana Living Standard Survey, has resulted in a decline in unemployment rates from 11.9% in 2015 to 7.3% in 2019.
Ghana yemampeni Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo ena mote nene no na osade to edwa se Ghana ono NPP for de eba manifesto a omunim se emfaso ewo so pa
Giving us the mandate to implement the ideas in the manifesto. I said I fully understood the consequence of putting my signature to a contract. I know that some people do not accord much worth to a manifesto, but I do. And we of the NPP have always taken our manifestos seriously because we believe politics is serious business, and asking for the mandate of the people to govern is serious business. We believe that citizens must be treated with respect. Once given the mandate to govern, we are bound by the promises that we made to the good people of Ghana, and we set about translating the promises.
Nana sa kan bibi fa Ghana yenkuaye SM so omba omabo omoden pa ohwe COVID-19 mun sensem kura okobonten so a aduane enye na
We would not risk putting agriculture under the NDC and its leader. And once again, that an NDC administration under the former president will treat businesses any differently from what they did the last time. In spite of the unexpected and dramatic entry into our lives by COVID-19 and the subsequent worldwide devastation, we can demonstrate that we have set the economy on a strong foundation and businesses will flourish. The virus has slowed us down, but it has not diverted us from the path of growth we have put the country on. It is interesting to note that the NDC opposition is not able to take the lead in doing some of the things that are most often done first by parties in opposition. You might remember how long it took the NDC presidential candidate to find a running mate. And they have not yet got a manifesto. I wonder what will happen the day they have a government to run as well. Or maybe it is simply showing that the country, they do not attach much importance to a manifesto. Nor should we expect
Nanado Danko Kufado and on now aside so say Womudi Omunim manifesto home and Fasopa na Eyomo say NDC Amayukomo opposition na NPP for Timmy do omonim no more womo vice presidential candidate na fin so womo sanso abelanche womo manifesto eja womo eno echere say womo emfa manifesto no omode NDC for the agropa na Nana Kasawi no ena enra danso mampani dada His Excellency John Dramani Mahama odena probo na miensa dwumadi no ebawiye ewo fraumantamu na eno ena ochiremu se Ghana fo enya ne mu awrechiremu pa na omo ento aba ema no
Leba meyo mo say David you say ba boshe ayediso NDC, so we NDC Fiwa, Obiani Wa, or Shabu Utility, so to say NDC. And so, and yeah, Boshia Abatu on your battery. I feel we Abatu on your battery. And your GTA Abatu. Now, what the GTA at two Brazuka Samoa? As I said, the person you trust, the one you trust. Now, so NDC Amambo. Now she MPP Amambo, NDC. Yet me Yadia, Yamaka say a bay amamo. Ya bet me and your Cassabe. As you young movie there. Yes, oh dear, 2 million here. And yes, sir. And say me overcome more to a papa or no. What you can.
John Dramani Mahama as actually say da na another or die out or junior wante no masse. Nina and say Nanado Danko Kufuadua. Corruption who devil be and best infamy and say confine echi wa bra babeto abana. A head thing and a 2020 womo a manifesto no or man for corruption same armim.
Fight against corruption. This president is not willing to fight corruption. And everybody knows that when you fight corruption, corruption fights back. And I mean, depending on who you are in this administration, I mean, you can do whatever you want and get away with it because he will personally clear you and, say that nothing untoward has happened. I mentioned the other day that there's a long list of cases of corruption and yet he's not made anybody investigated. The Office of Special Prosecutor is his own baby and yet he's tied the hands of the Special Prosecutor. We all know Mr. Amidu is a very vociferous lawyer and I'm sure that if his hands were freed to really investigate these cases, he would have, gotten some prosecutions by now. And my point is that when you fight corruption, you need to do it so that it becomes a deterrent, so that others do not engage in it. And so obviously, this government has lost the fight against corruption, and people are tired of corruption.
Ghana Yeman Penny Dada His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and Amote Neno on COVID-19 or the two just and another Danko Kufuado Nena buying or more aye and normal pinso or no Ebola ebane pencil Ghana need be anywhere ultimate enya Ebola Nanso she and a number confirmed cases and in number 43,000. Kane Mampeni His Excellency John Ejekum Kufuanso de ato Ghana fo nyina anim say yenya Nanado Danko Kufuado ene na bedi achire Dr. Mahmoud Baumia emugidie na yensa enfa abano yento abano ma omo ebiem na omo bema abrochire ayese Ghana ayese abrochire
abai manu de aka nyame na ko bobusia na ko sabi ni ya ba tidem na bi sa na ko tidem
Abano, the crowd in Yabia, and Babylon, as well as the because education. That's it. And yes, when I say I'm a financial get MPP, yeah, don't matter what I say. You want to do that. Cassette as a general manifesto.
Ghana Kanema Penny, His Excellency John Ejikum Kofo, ena mote ne no. Na enrada ena CPP amayekionso etimi eyi wamo akendifo na sei ena esi ekoye omo eyi papa ye friend Ivor Kwabna Green Street say ono ena onto franka ema CPP amanyukio wane bright akwete any divine Ivor ena etimi ekopreya unya emanum dodo na 1364 enunti minimo kasei 2020 abaye babetoi Ivor Kwabna Green Street ena ekwa kutu franka diama CPP sanso ena yeko national chairmanship slot no so a sei ena esi etie ewo ehonom na akosua frimpoma kuma wano enya ema omo eto yenmu 915 na chese ono ena ehuridi kan enti nana akosua frimpoma kuma wano ena ebe national chairperson ede ama CPP amanyukio national secretary ye mame nana ya achempem Jantua sam enkane no ono ena na okasa edema public utility service PURC no ono ena na okasa ede ema omo enunti nana ya achempem Jantua wano ena eye national secretary di CPP women's organizer eye Aisha Sule Futa wano ena wono so eye women's organizer national organizer eye Moses Yirimbo Ambin wano ena national organizer sanso ena youth organizer eye Osei Kofi Akwa youth organizer eye Osei Kofi Akwa ena treasurer eye Emmanuel Opare Odro na national vice chairmanship no so eko ede ma onse Kwame Nkrumah onya 1113 vote 1013 Mr. 1013 vote ewo ehonom yemfa COVID-19 nsensemi emfa sorry jumedie yi eso na COVID-19 nsensem no say ena esiti minimum ka say Ghana yenjinabre eye 43505 empem aduanan miensa ahenum ene enum sanso ena recovery no eye 41532 metre empem aduanan baako ahenum aduasa mienu ena active case no eye 1712 apem ahenson ene edunum enipa aduonu ahenu aduosia baako 261 ena etimi efrim ewo honum Greater Accra region omo edasoa edikaya enye asem ketwa akra Ashanti region etoso Western region ena Eastern region ena etwatwaso Mmayemfa ene ede trending news science ekan no ensi ehase yadamase esama monitor adeshi
Heba Danny beat Edie dwabo na wowobo say yedintuo obi awoda eyie anasempo ekuo bi pnoto akwantufo media services won krofo a ebonwoma fatama ne aboboye biara wo bedroom kasafo a aprofo frɛ ne sɛ MC a wonano so atie ɛna wosan so wo enuane noafo a wonu enuane ahodo pia ɛho tie ɛna video ɛne mfoni twafo a wo ba betwa mfoni papa bi ɛfɛ a wo de bɛka kai wo nhyehyɛ ne daa wo hwehwɛ Akwantufo Media Services a one number ye 07951 832691 and also se from 079041 43168 wasanso wo internet so a one website address ye www.akwantufomediaservices.com Akwantufo Media Services ye wo homa wo da
girl you the hustle be like say you know they got chance area better out in different umbrella
work. It's to me, I be work. Hey, Nancy, umema sama sorry. Usi pasua sata ya sheni kubu. So ujina fuwe.
Nasa uzowoji.
Matinka na abete. Give us power capsules sada romanti. Matinka na etiko ya nasinya beja.
Oh, give us power capsules. Usisi na yao ya. White, mono, syphilis, dementia, stamina na uni. Sa wumi minibia. Ubewa jumefri. Nonsia kopi nonsia. No sperm count. Unine tukanta amobabai. Kani iname jonso mebresa. Enam give us power capsules unti. Sise me maswa na besineko. Koko didi mini pedemu afifiri mi bebia. Amamai na jima boso. Debia nam yamatim. Nenam give us cold capsules unti. Manya me fa hodie. Ema muko afichira munya muwatwe ye. Ana wa wanita aya ohine. Pompo na abobo. Give us cold capsules ye blood purifier sonko a abadwa so. Give us cold capsules nya ma oba wo ma mofo anaso ofafro. Ana kwala woni mfie dumienu. Give us cold capsules ne give us power capsules and I'm give us scientific herbal clinic for so na buy. And now
www.akwantufomediaservices.com and www.akwantufomradio.com and Fre Ahumatrufoi 00447951832691.
give us Rube Jina Soma.
Work. It's to me. Ethereum Mission, the Church for Spiritual Empowerment, welcomes you into the hour of awakening and empowerment with Brother Dr. Ishmael Tete. Be open and discover the radical truths that will set you free this and every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Ghanaian time or 19 hours GMT. Awaken the spiritual giant in you and gain the ability to handle your life and succeed in your life goals. Join the interactive hour of awakening and empowerment with Brother Dr. Ishmael Tete for spiritual lessons to unleash your innate potentials. You will have the opportunity to ask questions which will help you grow spiritually. Remember, this program comes up every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Ghanaian time or 19 hours GMT right here on Akwantufo Radio. Make a date with us. The Intraman Association UK Etun sa Fred in Tradishia ewo UK hanyina say. Momeka yen ho na yemfa nkabom ene kroye entoto adwene emfa mmoa ye mindintra. Yeshia bosumi biara ni kwesi ada etosu mienu ewo Wickway Community Center, St George's Way, London, SE15 6PL. Efri no nsia kopem no wotwe mrenemu. Friend yen wo 079 041 43168. Bra, na dencha mayin punto hu hia. Pentemprem, Minnesono. Adewu dencha. Kwaye kese a Minnesono.
What event are you organizing? Is it a birthday party, christening, funeral, wedding, and many more? Fall on Akwantufo Media Services for your DJ and music that will keep you on your feet. Master of ceremonies, who will captivate your guests. Photos and videos that will hold your cherished memories, as well as catering services that will provide mouth-watering food. Turn to Akontufor Media Services. We make the most important part of your events come with less worry and excellent professionalism. For bookings, please contact 0795 183 2691 or 0790 414 3168. Alternatively, visit our website www.akontuformediaservices.com. Akontufor Media Services, there to serve.
Forget to gala do when you want the physical. Sometimes I get to be the forget to gala. Yo.
Unipa ne di nsekeke. I am boy in your no. Oh, I know that's who you are. Do the moment you can get.